Hi guys, it's me, Terri of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome to Vlogtober day 26. Okay, so for today's mini project, following along with Laura at Happy Berry Crochet here on YouTube, I made the little penguin. This is such a fun project. Everything is made as you're crocheting the piece, so there's nothing to sew on. The only thing you have to do is to add the little eyes at the end, but besides that, everything is attached as you're going. You don't have to sew the beak separate and then attach it. It's all worked into the pattern, including the little wings here and the little flipper feet at the bottom. And so I really liked the way she did it. It was just, like I said, it was pretty easy. You do have some color working there to get the white patch on the belly, but it's not difficult. I mean, I didn't have any problem with it. It's just straight stitch, you know, it's just more or less a square, basically. And so it really wasn't hard, and she went right along with you as you were doing it. To guide you, and so I think it was a great pattern. She just did a great job designing it, I think. The scarf is separate. You could do the scarf or you could take the scarf off. I just have it tied on there, but I just used some red sparkly worsted weight yarn that I had, and basically it's just 2 stitches, single crochets back and forth until you get it long enough where you can tie it around his neck. But anyway, he will be hanging on my Christmas tree. Okay, so that is my mini project for today. On to the trivia questions from yesterday. Number 1 was, what is the real first name of Indiana Jones? Was it A, Max, B, Henry, C, Frank, or D, Joe? And the answer to that one, of course, was B, Henry. The nickname, his nickname, Indiana, came from Jones's childhood dog, who was in turn named for a dog owned by George Lucas. So there. Okay. Number 2 was, which of the following doesn't belong and why? A, Marmaduke, B, Bullwinkle, C, Sylvester, D, Scooby-Doo, or E, Popeye. Okay? And the answer to that one was E, Popeye, because all the other ones were animals. Okay. And the third one from yesterday, number 3, was, which Major League baseball team is represented in the 1989 film Major League? Was it A, Cincinnati Reds, B, Philadelphia Phillies, C, Chicago Cubs, or D, Cleveland Indians? And the answer to that one was D, the Indians. That is... In the movie, the owner of the Indians, Rachel Phelps, played by Margaret Whitten, hires terrible players so the team will lose and she can move to Miami. Of course, her plot ends up backfiring in hilarious ways. Okay, so it was the Cleveland Indians. Okay. Okay, so questions for today. Okay, number 1. Which of the following doesn't belong and why? A, John Glenn, B, Gary Powers, C, Neil Armstrong, D, John Young, and E, Buzz Aldrin. Okay. Number 2, which of these sweet treats has not been featured as a main ingredient in a breakfast cereal? Okay. A, Airheads, B, ice cream, C, Raisinets, or D, Nerds candy. So which one of those has not been featured as a main ingredient in a breakfast cereal? Okay. And the third one for today, true or false, Michael Jackson's Thriller video was nominated for an Academy Award. Okay. On to the Q&A questions. Okay, so First question is from Lee, and she says, I've never tried C to C or corner to corner. Is it hard? It looks hard. Well, no, I don't think it's hard. And a lot of people, once they try it out, they really like the stitch, and they like it as just a different change. You know, sometimes you get used to doing a certain stitch all the time, like flat double crochet stitches or whatever, and you just want to do something that's got some texture in it that's different. Also, if you're using like the mandala cakes or some sort of self-striping yarn, if you want it to be striping, but you want it to be different than just horizontal striping, well, if you do corner to corner, then the striping will be diagonal, okay? And so I don't think it's hard. It may be a little kind of weird to catch on to it first, but then once you catch on to it, I think most people enjoy it. I do want to say that, of course, the Grafgan, like that banner back there that I did, the Grafgan pieces, that's corner to corner. That is corner to corner. That is a little more difficult just because you're changing colors and you're following a chart. So my advice to learn, if you do not know corner to corner, just to learn the basic corner to corner stitch first. And then once you get that stitch down, then you can add, you can then try that stitch out on using charts. And I think it's much easier if you try to go straight to a chart, a grafted piece, and a piece that's been graphed out there. Of course, then you're learning the C to C, plus you're learning how to follow charts at the same time, and so that can be a little bit difficult. But I did a tutorial showing the basic corner to corner stitch, both where you end up with a square piece. I also did one where you end up, it's a little bit variation, and you end up with a rectangular piece. Just using one color, no color changes, no chart work. And so I will link that in the description box below for those that may not know how to do corner to corner. And so like I said, that's just the basic stitch on how to do it. I do have right-handed and left-handed versions. So I will link them in the description box below, like I said, and see if that'll help you out. So Lee, try it out, do a little swatch, and see how you like the stitch, and let me know how you like it. Okay, next question. So Jane of Family Clan is the name of her YouTube channel. She asked me, have you ever bought yarn for a project and then think, no, it's not right for it? Yes, I have. I have bought yarn for a project, and then I started doing, I bought all the yarn, and it had a bunch of colors. I bought a lot of it. And then I started the project and then decided I didn't want to do that project at all. So I just ended up using that yarn for something else. But that's not exactly the question she asked. What she's asking is, have I ever bought yarn for a project and then think it's not right for it? And yes, I've done that too. For example, last year when I was making a Christmas gift, it was a blanket, and I wanted to do it in colors that it was for one of my nieces that has pinks and grays in her bedroom, and so I was wanting to do a blanket with pinks, grays, and whites, okay? And so first, I couldn't find, at the time, I was wanting to do it in a 3-weight yarn, and I could not find a colorway that was like self-striping that had those colors in it, the pink and the gray and the white. I believe the Ice Yarns did, but I've never ordered from Ice Yarns before, so I was trying to find something locally that had that. So I came up with the idea, well, I will use the ice cream yarn. I think isn't that Lion Brand? Okay, I pulled it out so I could show you. So I bought this yarn, let's see, it is Lion Brand, yes, the ice cream yarns in the cookies and cream colorway, and because it's got different shades of gray, there's a dark gray in there, and then of course lighter and white. So I thought, well, there's my grays and white. And then I had some, I don't know if this is it, but it gives you an example. I had some Bernat baby, Softy Baby in this like a pastel pink. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if this is from that or not. But anyway, so I thought, oh, I'll put them together and I'll just try to come up with the striping, you know, insert the pink, some pink stripes around, because it was a round blanket. It was the, so the pattern I was going to do was the Frank O'Randall's Mo of Change. Right? It's a free pattern on Ravelry, or you can go, I think he's got a website. But anyway, and so I was going to try to come up with the pattern, or the striping pattern, by combining them together, because they're both, I think that pattern actually calls for number 3 weight yarns, and so that's why I was trying to pick these out. Well, that did not work out at all. I was having such a hard time trying to figure out where to put the pink in there, and oh, it was a mess. And so I said, nope, this is not the right yarn for it. So I ended up finding some sweet rolls, some Premier sweet rolls, which are a number 4 weight yarn, but it's the one, I think it's called Bubble Pop, but it's the one that has pink and gray and white all together, self-striping. And so I ended up doing the blanket in that, and it turned out great. But yes, I bought a lot of this, the cookies and cream, because I was thinking I was going to use it for that. Well, I ended up putting 2, I think, in a yarn carousel swap, and then I've kept this one and one more, I think, for another project. But yeah, I had like 5 or 6 or something, I don't know, of these. So yeah, I ended up with a lot of them, and then I was like, what do I do with them now? So anyway, yes, I've done that. Okay, so next question, chocolate Bodie, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but she asked me, do you yarn over or yarn under? Well, I had to figure out yarn under, yarn over, and I was trying to think. So I'm thinking what you're talking about, and I think what I do is yarn over. Yeah, yarn over. So if you if you're doing a single crochet, you insert your hook into the stitch, right? And then you're going to pick up the yarn and bring it through the stitch. Well, when I do that, the way I hold my yarn, when I insert the hook, my hook is under the yarn, the working yarn, okay? And so then I grab it from under, so the yarn is over my hook, and pull it through the stitch. So I guess I'm yarn over, because yarn under seems to me like that would be an extra motion that you would have to do, because you would have to like wrap the hook up and over the yarn and then pull it through. Yeah, so no, that's like an extra motion. No, I think it's yarn over that I do. Okay. Teresa's Treasures asked me, let's see, how many skeins of yarn do you try to keep in stock at all times? Well, I don't know. I try to keep basic colors, and usually if it's a basic color like black or white or cream color or gray, you know, things I'm going to use a lot of, or I can use them as a neutral, not basic, but I guess a neutral color, then if it's on sale, I may get 2 of the jumbo, especially if it's the red heart, you know, it comes in those jumbo skeins. Occasionally you can find the bigger ones, and so I might get 1 or 2 of them, because I mean, I'm always going to use, especially if it's black or white, because I'm always going to use that in something, somewhere. And so, I usually have 1 or 2 of those in stock at all times, especially if it's on sale. I'll grab them. But besides that, I don't know. Like I said, I usually, when I'm purchasing yarn, it's for a particular project, usually. Unless, like I said, unless it is some of the neutral colors. I mean, occasionally I'll kind of go crazy and pick out a few colors just because I like them. But most of the time, I do try to purchase with a project in mind. So depends on how much the project calls for. She also asked me, does the number increase during the winter months? No, not for me, because where I live in Texas, and our winters are very mild, and our summers are very hot. And so really, no, it doesn't really matter if it's, the only thing that number increases might be the fact that toward the winter months I'm like in Christmas present making mode, and so maybe I'll have more on hand because of, you know, for Christmas stitching or whatever. Besides that, no, I crochet year-round, and I'll make blankets and things, lap gowns, whatever. In the winter, I'll make one in the summer. So, like I said, it's just, our seasons are so steady, sort of, you know. Anyway, let's see. Next question. Okay, so a few Vlogtober episodes ago, I showed a shawl. Let me show it. I still have it out, so I'll show it to you. It's this shawl right here, and I talked about how I used this real expensive, this is like the most expensive cake of yarn that I had bought, and it was for this shawl that I made. And I had said that it was some the cake was from Germany, and the pattern is also, it was a German pattern, which I thought that was cool because, you know, German and German, so whatever. But anyway, it was this one, and this pattern was in German language, but there was charts, and so I was able to follow the charts to get the pattern. Okay, so since I showed this shawl that I made, I had quite a bit of interest as far as people wanting to know the name of the pattern. So I went back to find the pattern. Now, I got this pattern over a year ago. I can't remember. Yeah, it was over a year ago, and it was from Ravelry. Okay, and I can't remember if it was I'm kind of thinking it was a paid for pattern, but I'm not sure. I'd have to do research in my purchases or whatever to see. But anyway, the name of the shawl is called Runa's 4M Cowl, like crochet along. Maybe this was a crochet along that she did it in parts. I'm thinking, if I remember right. Anyway, the pattern doesn't seem to be available anymore. I'm looking on my laptop here, but I looked up in fact, when I was doing it, I printed it, I downloaded all of it, printed it out. I don't know if I printed it, but I downloaded it. And then while I was doing it, people were asking me about it, and they were going to try to find it, and they couldn't. It was like had been removed. It was not there anymore. And so I went to go look for it, and I found it, and I found the designer. Let's see, Sigrun Wraith. I will put a link in the description box below to this Ravelry page where her designs are. But it looks to me like she has taken all her designs off. And, you know, she might have done that a long time ago. Like I said, when she removed that one shawl pattern, you know, like last year sometime, when she might have taken them off then. I'm not sure. But I will link the information I have for her, and maybe you can try to hunt her down. That sounds bad. But, you know, look for her in a nice way and see if there's a way to get the pattern or the charts. I'm not sure. Like I said, I would just make it available through my copy, but I think it was a paid for pattern, so I feel like I can't do that then. You know, I can't share it with everybody else because, like I said, I think it was a paid for pattern. So anyway, I will see what I can do and link it in the description box below, because like I said, I had several people ask me about that shawl and the name of the pattern and where they could find it. So I'll see what I can do. Okay. Grace asked me, how do I organize my yarn? Is it by brand or thickness or some other way? Okay, well, I don't, the majority of the yarn that I have is either number 3 weight or worsted weight. And so I try to separate them by that, sort of. But if I do, like, okay, so that hanging shoe, plastic shoe rack thing that goes all the way up and down next to my shelf, that has got, I'm checking to see, majority of it is Caron Simply Soft, my Caron Simply Soft that I have. I have the pockets where I have, some of it is all the same color, some of it is where I group them together because I might have one skein of one and one skein of another, but I I think they look good together, and so I kind of grouped them together, keeping them together because for some future project possibly. So I do have some of them separated by brands. I have that one, which is Karen Simply Soft. I have my Lion brand, well, actually down there, you can see, yeah, you can see it down the second shelf down there. I have my cakes, but it's a mixture of Lion brand mandalas and sugar wheels. So those are just cakes. My closet over here to my left, you can't see, but inside my closet I have some shelves that I have my baby yarn on one shelf in there, all baby yarns, or number 3 that would qualify for baby yarn because of the colors or whatever. Above it I have some, yeah, I would say by brand too, because I have just a few sweet rolls together, and then I have a very small amount of blanket yarn that is in that group together too. So I guess, yeah, I guess if I either weight or brand or project. So that's how they're loosely organized. And of course I have overflow stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else that I've got stuck in other places. So anyway, I hope that answered your question, Grace. Sort of, maybe. Okay, let's see. Okay, Bendy McPhee asked me, are there things that you would still like to add to your craft room? Yeah, I would like to add some more square footage. This room, I have been told, okay, so Brenda of My Puggaful Life, I'll link her channel below. She does live in my city. We're kind of a distance apart from each other, probably 45 minutes to an hour almost, because I'm on like one end and she's on the other end of the city. But we have gotten together a couple of times, and she did come over to my house for lunch one time, and she saw my craft room, and she said, oh, I have to see your craft room. So this was a bedroom, okay, and when she got in here, she's like, oh, it looks bigger on camera. Well, yeah, maybe it does. But this is a very small room. It's only like 10 feet by 11, 10 by 11 feet, maybe, roughly, something like that. It's not that big. So I would like more square footage. Just one thing would be nice, but I know that's, of course, out of the question. So yeah, that's out of the question. But besides that, I wish I could get it rearranged. Maybe sometime my husband and I can figure it out. But I have one recliner right here. This that's got the granny square blanket, that is just like it's a plastic, one of the Adirondack chairs, you know, like a lawn chair type thing, but it's the hard plastic. And so that's what's underneath that blanket. So I would like to have another little recliner. That would be nice, and it'd be real comfy in here for people to sit, because that chair is not that comfortable for long periods of time, and you can't put your feet up. I need to put my feet up usually when I'm sitting, you know, if I want to really be comfy. So yes, I would like to have another recliner in there, because occasionally my husband does come in here and join me, and we will watch something, because I do have a little TV over here. So we will watch something together, you know, especially if my son is on the other TV with playing video games. So anyway, yeah, I would like that. Besides that, I don't know. I have pretty much, I'm looking, I have pretty much everything I need. It's just a little bit cramped, so like I said, more square footage would be my number one. Oh well, that's okay. I feel blessed that I have this room, because I mean, I was married 24 years, and no craft room. I mean, space was limited. I have 2 sons at home. They had the bedrooms. So I feel very blessed that I finally do have a craft room, which I've had now for about 4.5 years, ever since my son has been married and moved out. I miss my son, but I do feel very blessed that my husband did this for me. So I'll take what I can get. Okay. Oh, and Bendy, one last question. Bendy did ask me also if there was a craft I'd like to try that I haven't tried. And I don't know. Not really. I think dyeing would be fun. You know, dyeing yarn might be fun, but I really don't need to get into another hobby because I've got plenty of stuff to do. So, no, not that I know of. Okay, so thanks guys for coming by for a visit today, and come back tomorrow and we will have a visit for Vlogtober day 27. So we have 5 more Vlogtobers after this one. So I can't believe it. We're in the home stretch. We talk to you later, guys. Bye.